All right, so Andrew Ng's team just open sourced a brand new product called OpenWorker, and it is completely free. And the first thing that came to my mind when I saw this was, okay, is this going to replace Claude Cowork? And I'm not saying this because of just the name, but it is because of what it actually does. It works on your desktop and it has agents that do things for you. As in, they'll read your files, they work across your tools, and they hand you back a finished document. So, quite similar, but there is a big difference. Actually, there are two differences. Number one, which I talked about, that it is absolutely free. But then, second, and the most important one is it is not restricted to any single large language model. That means you can bring your own key. Think about OpenAI, Anthropic, Gemini, DeepSeek, Qwen, Kimi, whatever you want to use, and you can switch whenever you feel like it. On top of that, it also works with open source models. So you can run the whole thing locally on your own machine, which means the only cost you're paying is the API call for your LLM. So in this video, I'm going to give you a tour of it, show you how to get it installed, and then we will try a few use cases so you can get a good understanding of what it can actually do. A quick disclaimer, all opinions are my own and do not belong to my employer, and this is not a sponsored video. And hey, one more thing, this is a beta, it just came out a few days ago, so please go play with it, but use your own judgment. With that, let's get into OpenWorker. All right, so what you're looking here is the official OpenWorker website. This is brand new. This is from Andrew Ng's team. And you can already see that they have given the GitHub open source already here. So we'll get into that very quickly. But I just wanted to show that this is completely open source. Actually, this particular diagram helps explain this much better than I do. So if you think about this, right, so if you ask a particular question, so this OpenWorker basically is a desktop application. As I mentioned, it sits on your computer. It connects to any model, so whether it is cloud or it is open weight or fully local. So you basically ask it a particular question, and then OpenWorker will use that model and then use any of your tools. So it could be Slack, it could be Notion, it could be Outlook, it could be anything else, and then it will provide you the finished outcome. So typically how Claude Cowork also works, but then it is not limited to any particular. You can also see all the different models that it can work with. So OpenAI, Anthropic, Gemini, DeepSeek, all of these different models, it is able to work already. And then these are all different tools that it is also able to work with. So they've also described some of the use cases here. So for example, here, prepare for a upcoming meeting. So it's going through the emails and stuff like that. This one is where they're looking at a triage where there is an incident. So this is more of a technical use case. And if you look at the interface, right, again, looks pretty similar to what Claude Cowork kind of provides as an experience. It very clearly lists down the progress. It lists down the artifacts, what it will be accessing and stuff like that. This is quite an interesting thing that they have mentioned. And they also talk about the use cases it comes with. For example, they are saying that it comes with 4 different use cases: sales, executive assistant, marketing, and ops on calls. It got me interested. So I'll explain how I was able to understand where you can find this in the GitHub repo. So what we will do is we will download this. It says the download for Windows coming soon, but I'm on a Windows machine and I was able to download it directly from GitHub. So if anybody has a question on the commands that you need to give, just comment on the video and I'll provide the command. But once you have downloaded this, I just want to show you step by step. So you will run this and you'll go ahead and extract this. So it's the usual process and it is pretty fast, as you can see. And I'm just going to run it. So here you go. This is how the interface looks like. So you can start having a conversation. It already gives you some options. But the first thing that you will need to do is go ahead and configure the kind of model that you would need. So you can obviously configure a baseline folder and you can configure all of these different things. For example, should it be always on, and set up an updates and stuff like that. But the most important thing is which model do you want to run? So here I've connected it to Gemini, and the way you can connect it to Gemini is get the key from your Google AI Studio and then just paste it over here and then you can test it. The same way you can also connect it with Claude. So you'll have to get the Anthropic API key. So you can connect any of the models over here. So the onboarding experience is very nice. Anybody will be able to use this. And they also provide this capability to use voice input. So you can actually like download Whisper and then you will be able to have a conversation with it. So pretty good. So I'm going to provide my Gemini and I'm going to test it. It is tested and it is saved. And now we are good to go. So I'm going to use this as the default model. You can change any models as default, and then we can go ahead and start with a new session. All right, so one thing before we get into the demo, I actually wanted to show you the GitHub repo and explain you about the persona that they have listed on this particular website. So here you see that these are the 4 personas that they have listed. You see this ops on call persona. So if you go to GitHub, they, first of all, like this is completely open source, so you're able to get everything from here. And then what they have described is the personas are over here. They've also listed like one of the personas, which is here. It's just 44 lines. And you can see the name is ops coworker, family is knowledge, connectors is true, and this is default permission mode is interactive. It describes what this persona is supposed to be doing and potentially what are the connectors that they are recommending. So the reason why I'm explaining this to you is because you will be able to create these personas yourself. So depending on the predominant use case in your organization, I would encourage you to create these personas. So that was something I wanted to show you before we get into the demo. All right, so let's start with the demo now. So for the demo, I've got this folder where I've got all of these different types of files. I've got account notes, contract terms, procurement thread, support tickets, and also an Excel sheet. So this is obviously a fake scenario. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pick this particular folder and I'm going to give this particular command. So read every file in this particular folder, produce an one-pager renewal brief for this particular flight account as an HTML file, and then create brief. So the idea is to show you how does it actually perform the activity. And you can already see that it is very much agentic in nature and it's now asking for permissions. So again, the way you have seen this in Cloverwork and other desktop tools like this, it is doing that. It is explaining what are the different tools called, what are the different artifacts it has got. So it has got access to a browser file, and these are the folders that it is working. And the idea is pretty straightforward, but again, the difference here is this tool itself is free of cost, and you are able to select the model. Since I went with Gemini ahead of time, it is showing me Gemini. So we'll let it do its job, and then we'll show you the final output. So this is what it was able to create. It has reviewed this, and this is the executive summary, assessment of this, recommended approach, and stuff like that. And it has also created this full HTML format. And it has got like this side panel where you're able to see this as well. And of course, everything it should have created in the folder as well. This is where it has actually created the output, else you are able to look at this directly from the folder. So because this is a local tool, it is going to create the files for your reference. Now, we can give it a very different kind of task. Using the terminal, create a manifest of every file in this particular folder and last modify it and save it as a file. It has already got access to the folder. So let's see that if it is able to use the terminal. So you can see it is saying it is using the terminal and it is running the show. So this demo helps you to understand what kind of tool access it has got. So here you can see that it is able to run the command because I've already given access for it to run. So it is able to run the PowerShell command. So this is what the beauty of this particular tool is. This has got nothing to do with large language model. This is more around this particular tool. So we are able to run PowerShell commands, or in case you're working on a Mac OS, you should be able to run that terminal as well. So it has completed its job and exactly what we asked. I just created this. There has been no change in this. So it is spot on. But again, the idea for me to show this was it is able to actually access your terminal and create this. All right, so the next use case that I'm going to give is going to be very interesting. So in this case, what I'm saying is go to the OpenWorker GitHub repo, take a full page screenshot and save it as, and then openworker.com, and then take a full page screenshot. So the idea here is I actually want to show and also assess if it can really use the browser tool that it has got access to. Can it take screenshots? Can it actually compile all of those things? And then can it come back to me with a report? So this is like a really good test of an agent. So I wanted to see the extent of which it can work on. So let's see what it comes back with, but I'm very interested myself at looking at. I'm just going to allow it the commands. I just saw that it is installing Playwright. So there it goes, very smart. And remember, Gemini 3.6 model has agentic vision. So the model itself is multimodal. It has a browser tool as a model also access. It should be able to use that as well. But let's see what OpenWorker is able to do along with the powerful Gemini 3.6. So it's already, it seems that it has already done all of these things. It's interesting because so you can see the thinking, but it doesn't show you the browser as it is going, but it's doing all of these interesting things behind the scene, which is fine. Okay, so it has completed the job and it has created a .md report. It has taken these screenshots. So I want to see where those screenshots are. So let me just ask, where are the screenshots? I wanted the screenshots to be in the report. Can you create a docx or Google Doc? So let's see if it is able to do that. But you can immediately see that it is installing. I just saw that it was installing the docx document library. So hopefully it is able to do what I'm asking it to do. So I have a strong feeling that it will be able to do what I've just asked it to do, and that will be pretty cool. There you go. You can see that it has actually created the document. It has also created a direct link to the screenshots here. So it has actually taken a beautiful screenshot over here and then the screenshot from the website as I had asked it to do. And then I opened this particular document in Google Docs, and here you can see that it was able to embed the images in a doc, and in this case, a Google Doc. So this is pretty cool. And then if you see here, it has explained what are all the artifacts and what access it required and stuff like that. So it has exactly done what I asked it to do, and it has described it beautifully. So really well done. If Andrew's team is watching, congratulations. This is a very good tool. And the fact that you have kept it open source, it's great for the community. So I have a strong feeling that this is going to keep developing, keep getting better and better. And as I explained, that you can also create your own persona. So that is going to make it much more powerful. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, do let me know in the comment section. And if you're new here, please hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.